Today's podcast episode is going to be all about the DMs. Because let's face it, you guys, it all goes down in the DMs on Instagram. And the DMs seem to be the number one thing that most people struggle with, right? You know you need to be in the DMs. You know that that's where the sales happen, but you just struggle because you either go into the DMs and doing this copy and paste message because that's what you've been shown to do, or you go into the DMs and you're like, I don't want to be that weird person in the DMs, and so I'll just be nice to this person, but I'll never actually ask them for a sale, right? So how do you merge the two and bridge the gap to powerful DMs that lead to amazing sales with amazing customers that are excited to work with you? Well, listen in for my DM training that's going to completely change the game for you in your DMs and change your sales this month. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Happy Monday, everybody. Here we go. It's a fresh start. It's a new week. And today we're going to talk DMs. Okay, this has been a theme of an issue for most of you guys. I've been having lots of side conversations. Everybody's struggling with the DMs. So let's talk the DMs. Because I guarantee that's why you're not having the success and the sales that you want. I just did a post about this last week. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I was talking DMs and how you need to double your efforts. You need to double your efforts down in the DMs, especially when your business is not established yet. You are not going to have people coming to you. We all wish we could. We just want to be like that person where we could just post and like 1 million people sign up. That's not going to happen when you're building your business, when you're building your brand. You're going to have to build that momentum, build that reputation, right? Before you're going to have that happening with people. So we got to embrace the DMs. First of all, what's your mindset around them, right? What's your lens? What's the feeling in your body when I'm bringing up DMs right now? Throw out some words in the chat for me. I want to hear. What is the feeling in your body when you hear me say you need to be in the DMs? Anxiety. Hey girl. Hey girl. Someone just did that to me this morning. Never talked to me before. Guys, I always struggle with my response to them because I always want to be like, hey, P.S. I teach people how to do this correctly. I have actually done that a couple of times. I'm like, and here's my free ebook to get you started. Hey, I think that's actually really nice because I'm giving them something free, right? I'm not like, just like, no, we're ghosting them. Intimidating. Look, guys, look at all of these. Okay, where are those feelings coming from? What is the thought underneath the feeling? Because it's a story you're telling yourself. I don't know what to say sometimes. That's the story Irene is claiming over DMs. That's the story she tells herself. I don't know what to say. How do I make the right move? You're overcoming past stories about what the correct way was to build according to training you received, right? What are the stories we're telling ourselves? They're terrible. They're the reason why you aren't having any success. So, first of all, your homework is going to be today that I want you to make a list of all the stories that come to mind when you think of DMs. I want you to list out all the fears. I want you to list out all the anxieties. I want you to list out, when I say, like, what's the feeling? List out all the feelings and then identify the thought behind every feeling. And we're going to figure out, where did that come from? Remember, just like money beliefs, where do these beliefs come from? Where are they actually true? Probably not, right? And here we are thinking that they're true. And also, I always like to tell people, journal out, where do I have evidence in my past that the opposite is true? Because you do. Where do I have actual evidence that this is not even true? That will open your eyes because you'll start asking your brain to give you better answers. All of these most likely are coming from a place of wanting to protect yourself, wanting to protect what other people could think about you, what other people could say about you, other people's perception of you. And when we're coming from that place, we're coming from a place of wanting to control other people. Let's just call it what it is. We want to control what they think about us, what they say about us, how they perceive us. Is that showing up from a place of love and service? No, you're showing up trying to control them. That's not love and service. It is not our job to control other people's perceptions of us. And we've talked about this before. What are their perceptions of you based on? How someone perceives you, what is that based on?
Themselves.
Yep. Here's how we know why. You walk into a group, a room full of people, and there's 10 people in a circle, and they're all talking. And then you talk, and you tell a story or something happens. One person will perceive you as totally warm and inviting and amazing. Someone on the other side will be like, oh my gosh, that girl is a little full of herself. That girl is a little whatever, right? They want to make a judgment. What's the common denominator? You. You are the common denominator, and everybody else's perceptions is just because you're the mirror. You are always the mirror for everybody else, and whatever they perceive of you is their own reflection. Now, it can be their own reflection of what's inside of them that they're not willing to own yet. It can also be a reflection of where they've been wounded before. Either way, are you responsible for either of those? And can you even control those? I love the Life Coach School podcast. She taught me a lot of this before I ever got certified. If you guys don't listen to her, you should listen to her, because she was the one that taught me everything is neutral. Nothing is good or bad until you put a mind to it, until you put a perception to it. That's how some people can celebrate 9/11 and other people can mourn 9/11. It wasn't the event itself. The event itself is the common denominator. It's the mindset, it's the perception. And it is your right to choose that perception, right? We want to choose to be sad over some things. But owning that and recognizing that your emotions are because you are choosing a certain perception, not because of something outside of you, is where your freedom comes, especially in the DMs. Let's circle this back now, because the DMs, their experience of you is because of them. Now, can we try to show up awesome? Yes, we should. We want to show up excellent. But so many people get stuck in wanting to do it perfect, which we just talked about on an academy call is just a fancy word for insecure. Hiding behind perfection is a sign of insecurity. That we never develop that trust with ourselves to just be us and let other people perceive us how they perceive us and be okay with that. So, what is in your head about the DMs is where it all starts. Here's some affirmations for you to start saying instead. I love connecting with new people in the DMs. I love serving more people in the DMs. I see opportunities everywhere in the DMs. I turn problems into opportunities. I'm changing someone's life today in the DMs. When I show up in the DMs, I get to serve people. I'm here to serve and love people. And when we don't do the DMs, we're not actually serving and loving anyone. We're serving and loving ourselves. Does that feel more powerful? Totally does. You're going to have to get yourself into a specific headspace before you go into your DMs, which is why I always recommend having a specific time, having a set aside time instead of constantly chronically doing the DMs, chronic coaching, chronic DMers. Have specific time or times that you set aside to answer DMs. And know yourself well enough to know if you're in a good space to handle it or not. Because you do have to be in a good space. If you're not in a good space, everything's going to rub you wrong. You're not in a good space, everybody's going to be saying no to you. And in reality, they're probably not, right? What you look for, you find. So decide, look at your schedule, decide, when am I answering DMs every day as part of my work? Maybe it's 2 times a day. Maybe it's 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, and you're going to set a timer and you're going to stick to it, right? Now, that's just answering DMs. I also think you should schedule in time to do your invites. So you're going to decide, am I going to do invites first and then answer DMs? P.S. I recommend if you're doing invites, you only invite. So if somebody messages you back and you're in the middle of DMing somebody else, you don't read it. You don't move on. You're going to get these invites done first. Do one thing at a time. Something that I used to love doing, and I taught my team to do with network marketing, was to set a timer for 22 minutes and try to get 11 invites done in 22 minutes. Because whatever time you give yourself is how much time it will take. Always. But if you're going to do that, that means you have better be intentional with starting other conversations before, right? Because you're not just going to cold invite someone. Or having some sort of webinar or something, right, that you threw for free, right, that people got to come to. And now you've got 20 people to follow up with, right, or 20 people to invite, whatever it is. Or, you know what, you gave out a freebie and you've been promoting it because some of you guys are going to have to promote it for a while before people start opting in. That's okay. You're building a brand. You're building a business. And people are slowly opting in. Those are all people you can go invite directly. So let's go into actual DM etiquette. We all know there's a quote unquote right and wrong way. I hate even labeling it that because I don't think it's right and wrong. I just think it's more effective and less effective, right, way to handle DMs. A big part of the question is, who do you want to be? Who is that highest version of you? How does she show up in the DMs? Because I guarantee she shows up in the DMs. And she shows up with certain feelings in her body. How I like to recommend and how I do this personally. First of all, I have hired out someone to actually help start finding me followers, right? I've talked with you guys about this before because I don't spend time going and finding my people now every single day. I don't. But I have someone manually doing that for me. So they find them, they interact some on their stuff. But those are not people that I'm immediately inviting because that is the kiss of death. Do not immediately invite a new follower to pay for something. So what I like to do is spend intentional time every single day. You can look at who's at the top of your screen, right? Whose stories are at the top of your screen. But the danger with that is you'll always have the same people, right? So instead of always having the same people, go back through your followers. Go look at who's following you. You can literally hit that on your Instagram to see who's following you and click on them. Go watch their stories. Give them a comment. Literally some sort of quick interaction. Move on. Do that to 10 at least people a day. I would say maybe even 20, right? The more you also interact with somebody's stories, the more you will be up in there at the top of their screen, right? Because the more DMs you are in, the higher you'll be up as far as who they see when they hop on and there's stories to watch. So you want to be in the DMs. It's going to get you more views. Okay, you're going to interact with them. You're going to give it a day and see if they interact back. If they don't, maybe there's nothing there, right? If they don't and you're like, no, I really like this person, awesome. Why? Go look them up. What do they do? And how can you help them? And what freebie of yours can you give them that will help them? Then you have every right to go into the DM with them and say, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing with X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. I think it's so empowering. I think it's so inspiring, whatever it is. We need people like you. Be genuine in your comment, right? Whatever you tell them. And then say, I actually have this freebie, or I just finished making this video, or whatever that could really help you. It teaches X, Y, and Z. I think it would really help you in helping you get your message out to more people, or whatever that is, right? Would you like it if I sent it over? Or would it help you if I sent it over? Don't just send it. Ask them. And this is where you can use this time when you're looking at all these people to see who your followers are to take stock and say, what's the theme here? What is something I can make to help all these people for free, right? What would be a good freebie? Like, I've talked to enough people now to know giving them a webinar on how to build a bio that sells is a good freebie. They want help with that. They don't even know that that will help. So I get to show them. Having a freebie that helps them with a niche, right? Because a lot of people need help with that. Because I've gotten to know my people. See what they say. If they respond back and they want it, awesome, send it over. Send it over. Give it for free. Make a note to check in with them in a couple of days, right? I check in with people about my freebies. And yes, I invite to my freebies all the time. So your invites every single day don't necessarily have to be to a discovery call or to work with you. The best way to track that, I used to track it so good on literally like a piece of paper. Excel spreadsheets are really easy. A lot of people do those, or Google Docs, right? It kind of depends it up to you. If you forget to go back, I do forget to go back sometimes too. But if you want to be more organized, if you want to be serious about some sales, you got to be more organized, right? You got to track everything. I also like to make notes of like, what's a couple things we talked about, right? With new people especially. Sometimes, for sure, okay, this always drove me crazy. For sure, scroll back up and read what you guys were talking about and ask them, oh yeah, I remember you said you guys were going on vacation. How was it? Oh yeah, I remember you said you had this thing going on with your kid. How was that? How are they doing? I've been praying for you. I've been thinking of you. Whatever it is, be a human. I sometimes would have my assistants follow up with people that I'd already invited. It would drive me crazy that I would see the message and they, like, literally, if you would have just scrolled up, seen that they said something and you didn't even acknowledge. So be a human, right? Like, acknowledge what they're saying. Remember things about them. You can use Trello for sure. A lot of people do. I've never used it. So follow up and see how the freebie was. Hopefully at this point, they're interacting back with you. You don't want to invite anybody to work with you that doesn't give a crap about you, right? Let this be a two-way street. So always go into conversations knowing what you bring to the table and looking for them to bring something to the table too, right? Don't go into this like, I need them. I need them. Don't be the needy friend, right? Don't be the person that's like, I'll just keep bugging them until they say yes. No, work with people you want to work with. Work with people that like you, that respond to you. As soon as you've given them some sort of freebie and you've had that small interaction, you go back to them, send them a video message of you talking to the camera. Hey, I totally thought of you because I have this, whatever it is, coming up. I know you loved this freebie. I know you're doing this with your business. I know, whatever, right? Acknowledge that you recognize them, what they're doing. You know who they are. They're not just like another name. Use their name in the video. And I wanted to invite you to join because I think it's going to help you X, Y, and Z. Remember, what's in it for them? What is in it for them? Don't tell them everything you're doing. Don't be like, oh, I wanted to invite you because I have this and I have that and I have this. We think telling them all of our stuff is why they're going to join. No, that comes across as being about you. Tell them what it will do for them. I know this is where you're at. I think this is going to help you go here. So tell them what their pain points are. I know this is where you're at. Even if they haven't acknowledged these pain points, you as a business owner that's helping people, you know your avatar well enough to know what their pain points are, right? So take a stab at a few, right? And I think in 4 weeks or 30 days or whatever, these girls are going to be doing this. These girls are going to feel this way. I'd love to have you be one of them. Would it be okay with you if we hopped on a call to see if it's a good fit? Remember, would it be okay? I love that phrase. Would it be okay with you? Now, sales calls. I could do a training on that too. I feel like I have, but I'll do another one. We'll do another one another time. Don't invite everybody to a sales call when it's like less than $100. I mean, I wouldn't even invite someone to a sales call if it's I just sold my 21-day group and it was like $450. And I didn't do sales calls for that. You might at the point where you're at in your business. My point is, don't spend tons of sales call time on the phone with people when it's a smaller purchase. So you have to decide for you what price point you do sales calls with. If you want to start doing sales calls right now for everything, just to get better at them, you can, because they're a great way to practice. But I would pick a price point, that people do a sales call. So if you're not doing a sales call, would it be okay if I gave you info, right? Or would it be something that you would like more info on? Sometimes asking, would it be okay if I gave you more info? People say yes because they just feel bad. So I would ask them instead, do you want more info on this, right? Would it be something you'd like info on? Does this help with the DMs? All right, good. And then, of course, anytime you're on a call, anytime someone has info, you're setting the next appointment. You're the one that leads them to a decision. You don't wait on them to decide. Your job is to get them to a yes or no. So you always take them to the next step. Just assume the sale, assume a yes, and take them to the next step until they tell you no. Because they'll tell you no. So awesome. Okay, I'm going to send you over this info. Or awesome, we're going to do this call. Set the appointment. When works for you? I've got this one, or this one. Right? Like give them options, give them a Calendly, whatever it is to book a call. If it's info, awesome. I'll send you info. And then I'm asking everybody to get back to me by this date. Would it be okay with you if I followed up with you on this date? Before you even give them the info, right? Because your job is to always set that next appointment. They'll say, yes, okay, great. Tell me what time. This is where you make them nail down a time. And you're going to make them tell you because it's their schedule. And if they're on the sales call and they're like, oh, this is all great. Well, first of all, here's a quick trick for the sales call. When they even get on the call, before we even get started, I just say, I'm so excited. We're going to chat about this today. I give them a little heads up, like what it's going to be about. Then I say, and if we get through this call and it turns out we're a great fit, would it be okay with you if we got you signed up and going today? Again, I just straight up ask, would it be okay with you if we get you signed up today? If they say, no, I really want to talk to my husband about this, I totally get that. Let's be sure to set up a follow-up call then. How long do you need to talk to your husband? 24 hours, 48 hours, which one? Let them tell you. Awesome, let's set up this day. Do you prefer morning or afternoon? Give me a couple times that worked for you. They'll tell you a time. Great. We're going to do a Zoom. We're going to use this same link. I'll send you a 10-minute reminder before. How does that sound? Right? Like you take charge. You're the leader. This is how people are subconsciously testing you to see if you can actually lead them. You don't know this, but they're subconsciously, it's not even conscious for them. They're subconsciously kind of like, because they want to see that you step up and lead them. They're not going to sign up with you if they feel like you're waiting on them. I've actually been on a couple of discovery calls in the last month because I was hiring someone to do my Facebook ads. And I was on 3 different calls with 3 different people. And all of them, I showed up on the call, felt like I was the one leading the call and I was the prospect. And I was like, this bothers me. Right? They don't want to feel like they're leading it if they're signing up with you. And leaders don't have to be pushy, but leaders should know how to direct the conversation. All right, what questions do you have about the DMs? You need to be doing at least 10 invites a day, 5 days a week. And if you've been doing that and you're not seeing success, you need to look at who you're inviting. A lot of times people just want to fill in that blank with a name just to say they got the invites done, but quality over quantity every time. You'll see in network marketing, they're like 50 invites a day. Well, you know why they have to do 50 invites a day? Because probably only 10 are quality. Quality, AKA meaning someone that's actually your actual avatar, right? And you already have a relationship. You've already given to them, right? They're actually interested in working with you. So it's not that you just are looking for people so you can fill a space. Get quality people. And if you don't have 10 right now, go with whatever number of quality people you do have. And get really intentional with building your top of your funnel. AKA today, I'm going to start 20 quality conversations so that I have 10 quality people tomorrow, right? Whatever it is.
So with those 10 quality conversations, like I have been doing 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening of starting conversations with non-coaches in my stories each day. I haven't made that next point to like the invite. So this is really awesome. But should I also be taking some of the posts that I make in Instagram, and if there's people that are like loving a lot of them, should I start a different conversation there?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's where I went from such coaching and chronic like writing invites to everybody, cold invites to everybody, that now I feel like I've taken 2 steps back. So I haven't taken those loves.
I would say those people that are loving all of your stuff, go to them and be like, I mean, I'm hoping you guys have started interacting by now. If they're loving all of your stuff, aren't they interacting with you in the DMs?
Yeah. I mean, I am in stories, yeah.
Then straight up invite them. Get on a video and do that. Voice messages or video messages. So here's the thing. Voice messages in the beginning before they know you can be great, because what I found is that if you haven't talked to someone and really developed that relationship with them and you send them a video message, they're like, did you get hacked? I've literally had people say that to me. What's on this video? Should I open it or am I going to get hacked? So start with some voice messages. Once they already have a conversation with you, then you can send a couple of videos. But I'm all about video messages when you invite them and using their name and relating it to their business. It feels so personal, right? People love feeling personal. They love feeling customized. They love feeling like it's a relationship, and it is. Mary, you've got people that are totally ready to work with you. It's how can you be bold? How can you be a bold Mary? Because bold Mary asks for what she wants with people that are ready, but she knows now not to just go asking everyone. Like, you've learned that. Awesome. You learned the lesson. Thanks for the lesson. Now you get to be bold with the right people instead of just brass with everyone. Ooh, I kind of like that.
I do too.
Might be a post today. How does that feel?
So I'm curious, how do you get out of just sending like little hearts? So a lot of people interact by just sending a heart, a like, just a smiley face. And I would just kind of send a wave, a heart as well. How do you kind of break that? Is that considered an interaction? So before knowing all of this, that's pretty much how I related with my, okay.
Think about it as being in person. You see another mom at the park and you smile at her. Is that an interaction? In a way where now you can walk up to her and be like, by the way, you should join my group.
Right.
Always relate it to in person. People forget, would you do this to someone in person? So my response to people is be a human and give them a genuine interaction on their stories, not an emoji. Because an emoji is what everybody does. And an emoji is the fast, easy way out. It's the cheap way out. Right? Be someone that actually gives them a literal written response. It shows you took time. right? That most people don't. And two, you are actually noticing something about them. Ask a question, right? Questions are amazing. It shows genuine interest. So it starts by you not doing that anymore. And then they'll start not to do that back to you. That's how it starts. Does that help?
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I have a question just piggybacking off of that.
Mm-hmm.
I get a ton of people that send me the emojis in my stories.
Yes.
So like if it's inspirational or my post or whatever, I get that. So how can I go about starting a conversation with them?
So I would totally voice message them back. Girl, oh my gosh, you have no idea. It was like the biggest mess, whatever it was. I don't know what you're talking about here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Basically, I totally got it cleaned up, blah, 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 blah. Hope you had a better Tuesday, right? Like, or whatever it is, I don't know. Voice message it back like you're already having a conversation. This is where you assume the conversation. You assume the sale, assume the conversation. Act like you guys are already talking.
Okay.
You can also ask a question back. Oh my gosh, have you ever done something like that? Have you ever, right? Like, act already like the conversation's already happening.
Okay. Another question.
Yes.
So like you mentioned at the beginning, when people are DMing you to join their group, I got a ton this weekend because there were a lot of like big time events going on this past weekend. Should you respond? What is the best way to be like, because one of them I was like, hey, you should totally check out, this is what I do. You should totally check out my thing coming up, because I just added her from following and she boom was like, hey, I have a call in 30 minutes while you hop on. So I was like, I'm not available in 30 minutes, but I would love to hop on a call and chat with you and what you're about and see if I can help you in your Instagram.
That's perfect right there. What did she say?
She said, I'm not available right now. I'm backed out. But I was like, okay, but because she is like hungry for it.
Correct.
But okay, so I was just wondering how to go about that because I get those all the time.
Here's a question. I mean, here's the thing. How does the highest version of you want to respond? Like you did?
Yes.
Yeah, so you totally can.
Okay.
Now, you're going to weed people out really fast because you'll see, okay, she was just someone that wanted to send a bunch of copy-paste messages. Awesome. Great. On to the next person, right? You will get some people. I had a couple of people respond to me and be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I just downloaded your ebook, right? Because they don't know. So we have to assume the best about people. I think I said this last time, never assume anything about anyone except good. Only ever assume the best about people. And so when we do that, it helps us get less offended, right? Less like, I can't believe you're doing that, right? When, hello, we've done things too, right? So if you want to spend that time, you might weed through a lot of people, right? I would also take a bunch of screenshots and use it as a lesson. Go into your DMs. You can hide who it was, right? You don't have to show who it was and be like, if you're sending messages like these and show 1, 2, 3, XYZ, like whatever it is, be like, I want to teach you why everybody's ghosting you. Right? Like literally turn it into a lesson in your stories and then teach them. This is why, this is what you're being taught. This is why it doesn't work. Here was what you can do instead. Now you're adding value, straight up value to people's lives, and you're helping them. And you're setting yourself up as an expert. You could also video message them back and say, hey, oh my gosh, I saw your messages and I so love that you're running after your goals. I'm actually an Instagram coach and I teach people how to have better sales conversions in the DMs. And I wanted to let you know, if you try X, Y, and Z, you're probably going to get more people responding to you, not ghosting you, and your sales are actually going to go up. Hope that helps. right? Who gets that kind of a message back? They're going to be like, who are you? Right? They're going to be like, that's amazing. You didn't put them down. You didn't shame them. You actually gave them something of value.
Right.
So there's some ideas for you right there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Does that give all of you guys ideas? Even if you're not an Instagram coach, you can always respond that way to people. Right? Give them something of value. Be like, actually, I've been studying a ton about Instagram and sales and how to help for my own business. Like if you try this, it might help. Now you have a friend. Now you just made a friend. All right. You guys are inspiring me. Maybe I'll go back and start messaging some of these people myself. Sometimes I'm like, I don't have time. Like, I just need to do all this in the DMs. I'll help more people anyways. But yeah. All right. Yay. Thanks everybody for being on. Go start committing to your DMs. Let it change your life. I'll see you guys next week.